It is looking like a maze, has the power to amaze, but might put you at big stress if you don't know to address all the issues on the road. In the end, they're like a code. If you manage to break through, you might find the way, the through. Now, my friends, you have two options. One is to be caught in this big fog, in this giant net, having no clue of what these words represent and what can be done with them. Or the second is to watch this video, knowing everything precisely and fulfilling your business goal, and then relaxing on a beach with a big smile on your face. So what's gonna be your choice? Bonjour mes amis! A couple of months ago I presented you this amazing video where you had the chance to learn how to promote your restaurant's cozy atmosphere by using PowerPoint. If you haven't seen that movie, please go ahead because it's a masterpiece. And then I've presented you this video where you had the chance to learn how to record the video by also using PowerPoint. Now there is one card left on the table, and logically that card is related with the third step that I was talking about at that moment, meaning how to insert the demo video into the company's website. Yeah, I know that some of my viewers are not best friends with programming, but this is something that really must be done if you want to promote the great stuff that your company has with no additional costs. And for the ones that are targeting international clients, I'm gonna give you the best possible 3 tips with which you can assure that your video subtitles will work perfectly. And believe me, you won't find these 3 tips together in any other material. So make sure you stay until the end of the video so that you will assure the best functionality for your video. You are afraid of programming? Then please don't worry, because I promise I will be a good doctor for you and you won't feel any kind of pain. Do you really trust me? Sure? Then come on, let's start! So, we are in the code source, and all of the things I've already presented you in the movie of how to attract more tourists to the store. So if you haven't seen it yet, or if you don't remember well the initial setup, then please go ahead and watch that video again. Now, in today's case, from the styles perspective, let's roll the dice. 6. Oh, it means that we have to put 6 elements in the style sections. Format the background with a linear gradient. So let's define the styles for the body element. For the background, we're gonna put a linear gradient, and this is going to be oriented to the right. We can orient it in different other situations, but I will put it to the right. Then I will define here 3 different colors. First, dias 83 CBEB, and then I want to put an orange, and then I'm going to put a turquoise. Great, we have achieved that, so let's take a look. You can see the difference between a white background and this linear gradient. Let's pass now to the second element. Create a container or box for the main elements. For these, we're gonna create a class with the name box and also with the property margin that will be set to auto, meaning that our box will be centered, and also we want to occupy 55% of the screen width. So in order to specify a class, we need to put the dot symbol, then box with margins set to auto and width a 55%. Of course, the box itself will be created by placing a div after the body label, and also this div is going to have as class the box, and after that the div will be created. The box will be created, but we won't be actually able to see it unless we'll specify a border. So let's do this temporary. By specifying the codes in this way, we have an important advantage, and this is related with the zoom that can be applied in the browser. So practically, by placing the code in this way, regardless of the zoom, the box will always remain centered. Now I will eliminate this. Define the style of the image with the restaurant. So it's going to be img with position relative, and we also going to specify a top of -10 pixels because I want to be a little bit up in the screen. The width is going to be 100%, will occupy the entire length of the box, and the height is going to be set to auto because we want to preserve the aspect ratio. When you define the style for a tag or for a label, you must not place the dot in front of the name, because in this way you're going to create a class and you won't establish the style for the respective label. Of course, if you plan to insert more pictures, then logically you should define more classes, because in this way you will be able to style each one of the pictures. But because in my case I don't intend to insert more than one picture, then it's very fine to define the style directly for the img. Now we can refresh the browser and we will see the difference. Now we should have the image with the restaurant. Format the style of the video that is going to be inserted. Because I want to align the video with the base of the restaurant, I will set a width of 56% of the box size, and I will also specify for the video that the height should be auto because I want to preserve the aspect ratio. Now let's physically insert the video. For that, we're going to use the label video followed by the attribute src, and the value of this attribute is going to be the name of the video followed by the extension. In our case, this is going to be an MP4. But if you're going to specify just the attribute src, the video is useless because it will appear on the web page, but you won't be able to play it. So that's why we need to insert more attributes. By introducing more attributes, you will be able to play the video, to put pause, to select a different speed, to select the subtitles, and so on. So practically all the other attributes will give way more functionalities to the video. In order to be able to execute what I specified earlier, we should define the attribute controls. And now let's take a look at the consequences. By inserting the attribute controls, now we are able to play the video. As you can see, we are able to put pause, we are able to change the speed, and so on. But about the subtitles, don't worry, we will be back at the end of the video. And also make sure to stay until the end, because I already mentioned it. I'm going to give you the best possible 3 tips related with the subtitles. Optionally, you can insert the attribute loop, and that will allow the video to continuously play again and again after the video will reach the end. But this is 100% optional, it's up to you. Now, my friends, it's time to introduce maybe one of the most important attributes to the video tag. And if I would have to make a comparison with YouTube, I would say that in YouTube, this is one of the most important elements of the video, because I'm talking about the thumbnail. And yes, in our case, when we have inserted the video into the web page, we can also specify a certain picture that will represent the cover of our video. And this can be done by specifying the attribute poster. And logically, the value for the attribute poster is going to be the name and the extension of the picture that we want to set up as a cover. So, by using the poster attribute, your video on your website is also going to have a custom thumbnail that will fascinate your viewers. The next attribute that I want to introduce you now is called autoplay muted. Yes, you can't just place the autoplay because the video won't autoplay, but you have to insert autoplay muted, and this will allow the video to start automatically when the web page has been loaded. It's up to you if you want to use this attribute or not, but now let me put you a very important question. What is the downside? What you can lose if you're going to use the autoplay muted? Can you guess? You can put a pause and try to think at one of the main disadvantages by using this attribute. Have you figured it out? Well, if not, let me tell you. By setting up this attribute as autoplay muted, you won't be able to specify that cover for your video. So you're going to lose this important feature. So in my opinion, I should not use this attribute. My friends, before passing to the subtitles, there is one more important attribute that we should talk about. And this attribute is called preload. But also it's worth mentioning that if you already set up the autoplay muted, then this attribute will be completely ignored. So this attribute will work only if you didn't use autoplay muted. So what is the role of this attribute preload? Well, the attribute preload will allow the code writer to instruct the browser about the amount of data that the browser should load before any action by the user. And this attribute preloads comes with 3 awesome flavors: banana, chocolate, and strawberries. So yummy. Of course, I'm joking. No. Yes, we're talking about 3 possible values that this attribute can take. The first value that the preload attribute can take is none, meaning that in this case the browser won't load anything. Of course, you will save a lot of data, but there will be a significant delay when the user will hit the play button. The second value that the attribute preload can take is metadata. In this case, the browser will load some specific information about the video, like size, bitrate, and so on, and a small quantity of data, let's say 2 to 5%. But of course, these will not generate a delay when the viewer will hit the play button. And finally, the third value that the attribute preload can take is auto. In this case, in theory, the browser should load the entire video, but in reality, if the browser has specific algorithms to save some data, then we'll decide maybe to load 40%, 50%, 70% of the video and not the entire video. Now, my friends, we are at the most important part of the video, especially if you are targeting clients from other countries. And believe me, if you will not see this part of the video, you won't understand why the subtitles don't work. And believe me, you will spend a lot of time trying to understand why they are not working. So please stay with me, and we'll start with the structure. Well, in my example, I'm going to use three different subtitles. One is for English, one is for Spanish, and one is for Romanian. To be able to introduce the subtitles, we will have to use the label track followed by the attribute srt that will have as value the name of the file containing the subtitle plus the extension. Optionally, we can use the attribute label, and the value that you will give it to this attribute will actually be displayed on the video when the user will try to set up a specific subtitle. We also need to specify the attribute kind that will have as name logically subtitles, and also the attribute srclang that will have as name the acro of the country for which we are creating the subtitle. There is one more attribute that you can use if you want, of course, and this is default. And by using this attribute to a certain language, you will set up this language as being the default one, the subtitles for this language as being the default one. Okay, so far so good, but now it's time for me to reveal you those most important three tips related with the subtitles. So here we go. Tip number one. Officially, the subtitle file should have the format VTT, the extension VTT. VTT, it's an acro that stands for video text track. But this is officially, because unofficially, believe me, it will work just fine also if you will have an ordinary SRT extension or if you use the extension SUB. But the essential part here in this tip is that whatever will be the type of your file containing the subtitle, in the first line with capital letters, you will have to put this word, WEBVTT. So WEBVTT with capital letters, no spaces in the first line. And with this, you will have no problem in having a subtitle very functional. Tip number two. Maybe you have done manually a subtitle for other video in other context, in other occasion. But if you have done it, then most probably you have used the comma. But if this works fine, for example, if you want to put a subtitle on YouTube, here, if we're talking about a subtitle for a video inserted in a web page, you need to remove the comma and use just the dot. Because if you're going to use the comma in the values, then of course the subtitles won't work. So here is where you should replace the comma with the dot. And finally, tip number three, which is super important. Believe me, I spend hours trying to investigate why the subtitles don't work, and I didn't find this tip together with the other tips. So that's why here for you in Modern Education channel, I'm gonna give you these three tips together, so you won't have to spend this time trying to understand why the subtitles won't work. And if this is very useful for you, then you can reward me with a nice click on the subscribe button if you haven't done it already. So, what is about when we are using the Chrome, for example, as browser, but this is valid also for the other browsers, then typically Chrome tends to block the access to this file containing the subtitles. So that's why if you will open this file just by using the browser, it won't work even if you have everything perfect. So that's why you need to install an app like XAMPP or WAMP, and with this app you will create a local server that will allow you to actually see the subtitles. But don't worry, if you have your web page of the company being hosted by a server, then logically in that place everything will work perfectly. So in my case, I'm going to put in the address bar the following: localhost / the name of the directory containing the file, then / the name of the file dot the extension, which is HTML. And now, as you can see, the subtitles will work with no problem. Hi, in our restaurant you will be able to set up manually the lighting system of your table, and you will be able to put whatever bulb at whatever intensity in whatever order you prefer to create a super cozy atmosphere. This is just for you, especially in our restaurant. Hi, in our restaurant you will be able. And my friends, because you have stayed with me and watching this video until this moment, I will give you one more bonus tip for you, one more nice tip for you. Format the subtitles displayed in the video in a special way. Logically, even for the subtitles, we can define a special style that will transform them from the normal white appearance. So to do so, let's go to the styles, and we are going to put here a double points 2 times followed by the name Q, and then let's put some properties here, like for example the font size, let's specify it to 30 pixels, and then let's put the color, let's say indigo, and we will put this indigo into a background that is going to be, for example, yellow. And now let's analyze, let's see the result of our action. As you can see, with this format you can have subtitles that feel, look and taste like the fabulous food from our restaurant. Finally, let's not forget to add this paragraph. Format the paragraph for the text. It is very important to put this paragraph because we have to remind the viewers that they should click those 3 dots and pick up the subtitles that they want, because they might not be aware of the fact that we are providing them subtitles for different languages. Now, my friends, you are all set. My friends, I really hope that what you saw today is going to help you in different occasions each time you're going to want to promote your company by inserting a video into the company's website. And believe me, the videos are a very powerful tool that can engage a lot your potential customers, and thus your sales will logically increase. And one more thing, my friends, if at one point you will need a video with which you need to promote your products, your company, or other things related with your company, don't hesitate to contact me, because I can provide you such a video for you. And if this programming part looks a little bit complicated for you, then please go ahead and watch the other 3 videos from the list, from the playlist, because they will help you understand better this part. Well, my friends, really thank you so much for being with me here, watching this video until the end, and I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And one more time, thank you so much, and see you in the next episode. A bientôt, mes amis.